There's been an explosion of content around the world in the past couple of years, but for creators of that content, getting their work into the hands of distributors and in front of the eyes of audiences is easier said than done. Ottawa firm BlackBox is building out that supply chain, helping creators go from production to payday. We're going to learn more about that today on Techopia Live. Hi, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Techopia Live. I'm your host, Craig Lord, the editor here at Techopia. We are back in the accelerator space at Invest Ottawa. And this week we're talking to Pat McGowan, the CEO at BlackBox, about how this company is building out a platform, a supply chain for production, for creators to get their work into the hands of these distributors where we're actually viewing the content. So, Pat, you were recently at TiECon, participated in the pitch fest there. Could you give us maybe the 1-minute pitch? What is BlackBox and what's the problem that you're solving?
Well, BlackBox is really an opportunity for content creators to stop working and start earning and generate and having a better life as independent content creators within a global context. So what we do is we encourage them to make great content, which we in turn will take to global markets, and then the money returns. But the real interesting part about that is that they can split the revenue with collaborators. And we call that FOIP, or fractional ownership of intellectual property, and that's the real revolution. We think that the value chain is a little broken right now, where content creators are being treated as commoditized labor, where they get a low fee to do the work, and then whoever is going to take that to market takes a bigger share and tries to give consumers content at a lower dollar than ever before. Witness Netflix, all you can eat for $10 a month, or whoever else is doing that. So content creators have been a little left out, and so what we intend to do is to extend that value chain so that it is inclusive of the supply, which is the content creators, through to distribution, through to content uptake by a consumer, and then the money flows down in the waterfall, and again, the content creators are recipients fairly of that waterfall dividend.
And you've been at it for a couple of years, so so far, how many people do you have working on this platform, feeding content into the supply chain through BlackBox?
As of today, we are around 30,000. I think we just clicked over 30,000 members globally. We've done that in less than 6 months, so it tells me that there is a massive appetite from content creators to have more control, have more independence, and have freedom. So what we call it creator freedom, and it's freedom to do the content that you want to do, where you want to do it, with whom you want to do it, and get to global markets and get a fair deal from the market.
And so the end buyer for this content, are we talking about people like Netflix and Shutterstock, those kinds of content producers there?
All of the above. So my mandate is to find the best relationships for distribution that'll generate the most money for our members. So that's really our objective, is to have creators do well. We're sitting here in a startup incubator. All of these companies are going to make videos, and all of them are going to buy stock footage. So I hope you buy lots of BlackBox stock footage, which you can do by searching BlackBox Guild on any of the big 4 agencies. So yes, we go through, for stock footage, we go through Shutterstock, Pond5, Adobe, big partner, and also a company called Storyblocks. We're looking for more partnerships that are beneficial. So as opposed to us being an aggregator, we're not really an aggregator of content. What we are is an agent of content, or an agent for content creators. What we are is a talent aggregator. So we're creating an ecosystem that allows content creators to work alone if they want to, that's fine, or to work collaboratively. So for example, if I'm a camera person, a cinematographer, and you're an editor, I can go in the field, I can gather a bunch of footage of waterfalls or parrots or whatever turns me on, okay, nature stuff, corporate stuff, whatever, and I've done my job. Well, what if I don't like to edit, or I don't have time, or I won't get around to it? I come to you, who's Mr. Crackjack Editor, and I say, okay, would you like to partner with me? And you say, sure. And I say, well, here's the deal. You get to edit it, export it, color grade it, upload it to BlackBox, and then add the metadata, the keywords, the tags and descriptions, the release forms, all of those things, which is laborious. And you'll get 40% ownership of the clips, not just a revenue share. We actually split the ownership of the content. And that's a really unique thing, because then you own your piece, I own my piece. And if something happens to you, okay, you actually can will your part to your heirs. You can't do that with a gig, okay? So our idea is stop gigging, or if you're going to keep gigging, do it for higher rates, because right now you're getting offered low rates. The rates are down, right? People think content creators are not as high value as they used to, but I'll tell you, if you've got a clip on Shutterstock that's popular, you can make 3 times your day rate just off of that one clip. And I do this all the time.
And so the value proposition to me is very clear. You're getting a better cut for your work. You're retaining some ownership over it, that fractional ownership of the intellectual property there, the FOIP. But for the at the end buyers there, I guess the Shutterstocks, the Adobes, people that you're partnering with, what's the value for them? Why would they go through BlackBox?
Well, they don't really go through BlackBox. They ingest content on a contingency basis. So it's a consignment sales model. We are not paid when we put content on their platform. You're generally not paid if you put it onto any consignment platform. And there's several out there. Netflix was a consignment platform for years. They've decided to go vertically integrated and treat creators as labor. They used to treat creators as partners. We want them to do that again. So as we develop this platform and this community, we're heading into feature films. We're heading into TV series, we're heading into music, we're heading into games. So any piece of intellectual property can be processed using our FOIP model and our upload once get to many model. So that's really what we do best. So this whole idea of consignment means that you do get a better rate at the end. Okay, so you're not negotiating a sale of your content, you're negotiating the potential of a sale. So therefore, there's very little haggling. Actually, there's none. All pricing is set. So it really works well.
And so, Pat, kind of one of the last things I want to get you for is what's the strategy to scale this up? How are you getting yourself to members and really growing the BlackBox community, the platform out here?
Well, a lot of people talk about democratization of the web and so on, which has been a bit of an empty promise to date. But what we're actually seeing now is we have structures that are emerging on the web that are much more organic. So YouTube communities, for example, social influencers, that kind of thing. So actually we're capturing the imagination of these people who actually believe that they want a better world and that they want a better place to work. So we're really just exposing them to an ecosystem that allows them to do that. We may be the pinning of that, we may be the focal point, but we don't own anybody and we don't want to. We want to create a very, well, I use a rather highfalutin term for it. I call it, I just got to remember this so that I get it right. I call it egalitarian microcapitalism, okay? So that sounds like a sociological term, and I guess it is, but it's egalitarian because it means that everybody has access. The guy in Kenya has the same access as the guy in New York. The guy in Kenya gets the same access and the same rates and the same financial return as the guy in New York. Okay, that's a little unprecedented, right? Because a lot of these other platforms that say they do that, they don't really. It's still kind of culturally skewed. So we have no bias. We have no bias on race, gender, religion, location, culture, anything. There's no bias. All that matters is the content, and the content is globally available, right? So this is our attitude that's really helping us, because when people really understand that, they start to become, they want to be affiliated. They want to be part of it. They want to be part of that ecosystem that makes them feel like they're not doing it alone. And these days, with what happened in our industry, we were so heavily disrupted that our home bases got blown apart. So TV crews, blown apart. Magazine people, blown apart. Everybody's a freelancer now, and that's supposed to be this great thing, but it's not really. It means that you have to do it all yourself. And creators are communal people. So we've created this community of creators that that can work together, because that's what creators love to do. Collaborate. Everyone is not going to be able to do every job, function, and specialization. You need people to form together into teams to do really great work. Then we solve the market problem. Then we solve the revenue splitting problem. So I'm not going to sit here and say it's the perfect solution, but it's pretty close.
And it's a great mission, removing a bit of the precarious nature of what people have called the gig economy, and really trying to give everyone an equal playing field when they bring their content and the content that they're making with others to market. So thank you very much, Pat, for sharing what BlackBox is doing with us. It's been a fascinating conversation, and for those of us who were at TiECon this past week, we've already heard a bit of your story, but hopefully now the rest of our Techopia audience gets a sense of what BlackBox is doing here in Ottawa. So thank you very much for joining us for this little follow-up. Before I let you go, I want to go ahead and take a chance to thank some of our sponsors, without whom this show would not be possible. I want to start with Number Crunch, offering virtual CFO services for SaaS firms. There's Pearlie Robertson, Hill & McDougall, a leader in business and tech law. There's TD Bank, offering specialized programs for tech firms. There's the University of Ottawa Engineering Department, creating the next generation of technical talent. And finally, Stratford Managers, offering services to help you scale up your tech venture. Now, of course, Techopia is not just this fantastic show. We are also on the web at obj.ca/Techopia or techopia.ca, where we've got daily articles coming out. You can follow us on social on Facebook and Twitter at Techopia OTT. We're on YouTube at the Ottawa Biz Journal account. Hit subscribe and give us a like and a comment if you're watching us there. And other than that, I just want to thank you for joining us for this great conversation with BlackBox today. We'll see you next week for the next episode of Techopia Live. Thanks.